We're back to start swing trading, where we take a look at the swing trading setups. I give you guys an update of how I'm attacking the market. And of course, we get to other traders that you guys want to go ahead and check out. Today, we have back options Mike. I'm super excited to get him on. We'll have him on in just about 3 or 4 minutes. I really quickly just want to run with an update on my swing trades, tell you a little bit about the ones that I'm looking at right now, some new ones I opened up today. Like always, smash the like if you guys are excited to hear about the trading setups today, and let's get into the action. I'm going to share my chart here. That would be good. Let's take a look first at the SPY and where we're at right now. It looks like we've been trying to cut down here multiple times through this 394 level, but the chop continues. You guys know the trading chop right now. And earlier this morning, when we were in the pre-market and, we were up because of China, I was like, well, we're up to the top of the range. Well, that just means that we're probably going to make our way to the bottom of the range. And clearly, we just did that, right? Now, earlier in the day, we cracked 394s, went to 393.38s. I've been calling out that kind of bottoming level around the 394s. We've seen some wicks through there on the hourly, but no really closing below that. So I'm keeping an eye out here towards the close to see what's going to happen. Are we finally going to crack this, or are we just going to stay in the chop? Majority of, I think, traders out there probably think the chop, right? Because that just seems to just make sense. The Qs is very similar, but towards the 290s. Today, we did get a cut there towards 290.20s, but they didn't really just cut that 290 low. And if you rewind, you can see how that support, prior support also from January 31st. We're going to look to see if we finally crack that on the downside. But you guys know I've been taking my shot in Best Buy. I've been watching this hourly sideways consolidation, been looking for the crackdown through 82. I even added today slightly into the 83s as I was up at 83.15, brought my average towards 83.08s, but it's not looking good, team, unless we get a quick turnaround here. Probably just going to cut it here towards the end. Could just run towards the small profit that I have right now, which isn't bad, but I was really looking for that 82 cut. Of course, they report earnings tomorrow, and you guys know how I am. I'm very wary when I get into earnings. And one thing to keep in mind is that Best Buy isn't just a growth stock, right? Too, it has kind of that lower PE. So just going to keep watch on Best Buy. Don't want to get to the earnings unless I had first profits. So it isn't looking good here. And of course, the Qs look like they were going to get towards the 290s there. Multiple bottoms attempt. We even went to 290.57. We went to 290.45. We'll see if we get that cut, but it's just looking like we're getting more of the chop action. Now, one that I did get out of with a small little stop out today, and that's why it's important to respect your levels, was Canara Brands. Got out of this one. I was looking for the move back towards 37. We got towards 36.94s, but was able to cut it here at the 30s, right slightly below through that 36.25. I cut it down here at the 36.05 spot. There you guys see it turned around, came towards that 35. Looks like that value trade that we were looking at just didn't even work out there in the defensive names as we saw some turnaround. One that I did take the profits in today was X, baby. U.S. Steel, not a bad little swing on that one. Definitely a good little gain here. We got it from 28.87. And so that's about, we could say right around here. Towards the high today, was trying to get it towards 31.50, which would have been a nice 9% gain. Eventually, I cut it at 31.15, which overall, I mean, from our entry, that's an overall about 7.7% gain. Of course, I took some profits into the 30, then extended it up above the 31s, was looking for the push towards 32. But today, when we were kind of rejecting this move to 31.50s, I just took it off of this pullback on the 31s. But not a bad play there in steel. And we'll keep watch to see if any of these other plays can keep pushing back. Now, one that I'm keeping an eye on really close is Best Buy. If you guys see me just turn to Best Buy, that's probably because I'm just taking care of the trade. You know how it is. We always got to keep in mind what's going on out there. Now, new trades that I'm getting into. Well, there is one that I'm taking a shot right now, and it's going to be one that we'll find out how the earnings do. I don't take too many earnings shots, but this is one I am going to take a shot into. It's Burlington Stores. I'm going to be looking for this to come back down after making a huge run towards prior resistance, rejecting that level around the 230s. That's up here where you see this kind of bunching to the left. Look how we're rejecting it now. But this has made a run here since October to where we are. That's an over 100% run. How much more can this stock go, right? I'm just thinking in that sense. We'll see and find out today. Of course, this is a smaller position. Going to be careful. Anytime I deal with earnings, I'm always going to just do more of like a little small little bet here. We'll see if it pays out. Like always, understanding where our out spot would be is always important. One thing though, this stock did break that 220 support. Anything back above that 220, we're going to have to go ahead and get out. We'll find out what happens there in Burlington. Average right now for me, it's 215.14. So you can see I'm actually slightly down right now. I'm still could add on to it, but I'm just keeping it very, very small and being smart here towards the close. We'll find out what happens there. Burlington. There's another one that I took today that I already was able to take profits into, which was Pakar. Pakar, the reason why I took Pakar was because it was on a nice little daily pullback off the support. You guys can see the support around the 72 level there for Pakar. And I was seeing Cat was having a decent day here. It was actually slightly right about here. It was around the 245, and I was looking for the move towards 246 and 248. And you guys can see we actually already got that. We even got to move to 249 there on Caterpillar. So I jumped into Pakar here today. Have an average at 72.12. So just slightly off of this turnaround here that you saw in the pullback. Reason I went after that, leader laggard style trade. We'll find out if this can continue moving its way back towards the resistance. And of course, if it comes back towards kind of this trend line, it won't be looking too bad. It just needs to kind of hold, get back up there to 74. It's kind of like a little bit of a breakout, then kind of that A, B, C, D kind of reversals pattern here, corrective pattern. If it can get above 74, we won't be looking too bad. I'll keep an eye on Cat. And I'll keep an eye on Deer to see if they can come back, especially Deer. If Deer can make a nice rip back towards this kind of 430s, 440s, we won't be looking too bad. Keep it on watch. Best Buy trying to get back there towards 83 to stop me out. Definitely will stop out at the 83s if I see it get up there. NTR is another one that we've been kind of in for a while now. We've got this one at 77.81. It got up there to a high today of 79.39. Looking for the move to 80 to take some profit and then starting to work this one. Of course, we're watching MOS with this one. Watch it continue to work. This is kind of the leader in agricultural inputs. Mosaic will look for that to keep pushing past the 55 level. The trend is still looking great on Mosaic. Just want to see that NTR start taking off towards the 80. We'll see what happens on these plays. That's going to be it for my update here. I'm going to go ahead. I still have one more. I have AU, but it's a very, very small gold position. I'm going to go ahead and get out of my charts, bring our guest on today. Sorry about it being a little bit faster paced today. Normally I start at 3 p.m., but let's go ahead. Let's bring on my guest here. Option Mike is back, team, so smash the like. How we doing, Mike?
Hey, Mitch, how are you, man?
Yeah, it's good to have you on. I always appreciate to have traders that stay up with all the actions. I always love even your posts in the mornings. I catch them all the time, Mike. You give me a good little update while I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. So shout out to you. Definitely, you guys keep up with Option Mike in the morning. You guys also can check him out. He has his own YouTube. So let's get to the action. I know you got your charts. I'm bringing them up here. And what are you seeing in the markets?
All right, so let's go over what we talked last time. So first of all, I want to start off with, if you're going to, any swing trade you want to take right now, you need to let the market pick a direction, because right now, this market really has no direction. There's a lot of people very, very bearish out there, and I don't want to go into a long talk about that, but we haven't broken the 200-day. Now, my bullish thesis ended last week when we gapped down on that last Tuesday. We broke the 21-day, we broke 400. I've gone into very tactical mode here. Still finding plenty of longs to trade, but what I'm looking right now for swings, for stuff when we come out of this, is what's acting better. So last time we came on, we talked about Meta, and I got to tell you, Meta still continues to act well. I would keep this on my radar once the market decides to go long. If you want, I don't pull up shorts because, most people can't short. Most people aren't very good at shorting, and you need to be careful. But if the market yanks, Meta probably fills that gap if you're into shorts. If the market holds in, this is probably one of the names I want to get into. Trying to break out today, couldn't quite break above this 177 area. That still looks good. I want to talk quickly about Tesla. Another chart that continues to look good, has a cup and handle formation here on it. You have your event today. You have their investor day today. These tend to be sell the news events, so I would wait to see the reaction tomorrow before even thinking about with Tesla. But again, You're looking for two. These two we talked about, they still look good. So let's move into some new stuff. How about that?
Let's do it. And I like that talk about meta, because I was even looking at it as that short for the fill of the gap there too, right? You can see how there's always two sides of the coin. And I feel like Mike presented that clearly there. Let's take a look at some other trades that you're looking at. Of course, that meta will be a fun one to watch, but I feel like now, I was even looking at it now. I feel like I'd be even chasing that type of chart if I went after the gap fill now, because it already broke through support. It's kind of in the middle there.
Meta, I think Meta is holding support. I have the
Yeah,
21-day right here, and it touched it
yeah, all right.
perfectly
You
and
have it on
bounced
the
right
off the
off of it.
support there. What I was talking about is that more that short term support off the gap when it just
Yep.
cracked back down.
See, what I
Right.
look at here is all through here, it kept failing at the 8-day, that gold line. And yesterday, it gapped
Mm-hmm.
up and broke above it. And that, to me, we traded it yesterday. We traded a little bit today again. That was a change, right? It changed character. It held the 21-day, broke above the 8-day. Now we'll see. It's got to break above 177 for a move to 180. Then above 180 can really start to push. But I think
Definitely.
the market needs to be in your favor. If you
Yeah,
want to
it
short,
does.
it's got to break the 21-day.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go ahead. We'll take a look at some other trades. What else are you seeing out there, Mike?
I'm going to bring up NVIDIA. Now, last week they had a blowout
Mm,
report, which I didn't expect. I don't think anybody expected
yeah,
that at
that
all.
was a surprise.
And like Meta, when you get these big moves, it needs a little time to digest. Now, it's down nasty today on they did a $10 billion mixed shelf offering. And the number that's getting everybody is 10 billion. If you don't know what a mixed shelf is when they say we have the right to to sell stock and bonds up to $10 billion within a certain time period, but they don't have to use it all. They don't have to say when they do it. It's kind of like just saying we have the right to raise money whenever we want, and you won't have to go and
Yeah.
say it. So it got hit on that today. We don't know how much stock they're actually going to sell for dilution or reverse bonds, but it's just there. As long as it holds the 8-day, which is back above here now, I think you're okay. If not, under 225, you can short it. If not, if it holds here and the market holds, I think this is a good name to move up. You have another gap sitting up here, up at the 153 area, that I would keep my eyes on for a fill, for eventual fill on this over the next month or so, if the market turns in our favor.
Love it. And I know you mentioned the 8 day. Is that a simple moving average or an exponential for you?
I use the exponential on the short-term charts.
Love it. I love that outlook there. I used the 9, but at 9, 8, it's not going to be too far off each other at all. So
Nope.
definitely using exponential moving averages can really help you stay with that trend. I think it's very important, especially since they're weighted on the more recent price action, right? That's why we would go to exponential versus a simple. And of course, when you're looking at the dailies, we more shift towards the simple because it's not really that needed to be so weighed into the
Right.
recent action.
Right. So longer term, like the 200-day is always a simple moving average for me.
Definitely agreed. All right, let's keep going. That's a good one. NVIDIA. We'll see what happens there, if it can come back down or if it just holds this kind of high. It's been a tough one, but yeah, the
Yeah.
mixed shelves can be a little bit confusing for new investors out there to understand.
Yep. Uber had a great report. They're turning a profit. They're going to be profitable this year. And if you compare it to the market, it's still holding up really well. It's weakening down here. I know it's coming back down, but it's still holding in. It's still holding this like 33 area range. So again, I wouldn't be in a rush here, but if the market curled up, I'm looking for, again, names that have relative strength in this market. And Uber fits that bill right now. They're turning the corner. If the economy goes into the tank, obviously they're probably going to take a hit as well with everything else. But again, you're looking for names with relative strength. This is a cheaper name. It's a little bit easier to play for some people out there. And so I would keep my eyes on this one. I wouldn't not looking to short this one. For me, this is probably a long back above the 8-day if the market's going in our direction.
Definitely one to look at. I mean, when we think about their competitor, right? I mean, Lyft is nowhere near what,
Lyft's going to have to be
viewed.
bought at some
Yeah,
point or merge with somebody
exactly.
to survive.
So
I mean,
best of breed definitely is definitely with Uber. I mean, look at that lift chart. That thing's
right.
ugly. But definitely Uber could come back. I think the thing for me always on Uber is just kind of long-term approaches. It's kind of difficult for me on a long-term approach to take Uber, but on that technical wise, I feel like, yeah, you could turn right back around and get towards that 35.
Yeah.
It's not looking too bad there. We'll see
It's,
what happens on the Uber life. Do you take an Uber, Mike, when you're out there?
when I have a hard time getting them, but I do, because when my friend and I go out drinking, we're not going to drive. So we
Yeah.
Uber out, we Uber back, and yeah, use them all the time.
Yeah, can't go wrong with it. And I think that definitely after the pandemic, it was a little bit of a question if it would be back to where it is. But if anything, I think Uber is going to continue seeing that lift, especially as people try to make up some of that income. All
Yep.
right, let's take a look at maybe one more for me. What else you got for me, Mike?
I'm going to go with TTD.
TTD. This one's an interesting one just in the long-term story of like kind of advertising and
But it
data
shows that
control.
digital
But
advertising's alive and well.
yeah.
Despite what everybody thought coming into this quarter, they're doing great. Um, Again, if you look at the stock, I know it's lost the earning gap and it's gotten back into it, just like Meta, just like other, but it's showing a lot of relative strength versus the market after a great report, great guidance, right? It came back like Meta, bounced off the 21-day, and now it's trying to retake the 8-day here. Just couldn't hold it today and back down below it. But this is one I keep on my radar. They have extended their partnership more with Amazon. They have some big players in there. By the way, if you don't think Amazon knows more about you than Google, you'd be
Yeah.
amazed. um, and again, it's one of those things. If you want to play this, I like them better in this space than Roku. I love Roku's products. I used to love Roku as a company. I just think
Hmm.
they're not in the right place right now. I just think this is a good place to be because they're just got their fingertips on digital advertising and the platform to help promote it. And
Yeah. I really like this chart on the weekly basis, Mike. I don't know if you've seen it recently on the weekly, but it looks nice after, especially that recent pop. If we can get back through there, I could see just
yeah,
clearly kind of a trend there
I mean, you
that,
can simply see a downtrend right here. I mean, that's the one thing when you learn to look at charts, you learn real quickly. You can see it broke above that
hmm.
downtrend right here, and it's just starting to break out of it.
Yeah, and then one of the things that happens often, especially I feel like when we get these big daily pops, is traders don't go looking at the weekly because I feel like the daily can get you to the point where you're like, oh man, that was too extreme. It's never going to come back up there. But if you look at it on a weekly basis, this is actually a decent pullback after that nice little rip.
Yep. And remember, people haven't had to look at weekly charts for a while. We got so used to everything going new highs, new all-time high, new all-time high. Now after this big correction that we've had in the market, you have to go back over a year now to start looking at charts to find where's my next resistance at, right? I'm constantly doing that all the time. Or last year I was constantly going back to weeklies. Where's support at? I have to go back. Okay, now I have to go back and find where's resistance because we broke out of this range. But these are some different ideas, guys. And the one thing I would say to you, if you're looking to swing in this market and take some longs, look for names that are acting strong. First Solar, that huge move today. I can't recommend
Yeah.
chasing that thing up here, but you know, big move on that. You're looking for names with relative strength that are holding up better than the market. And I'll leave you with one little one here, Mitch, real quick. Is the
Yeah, of
IWM.
course.
We were just talking about it in my room. How it's showing incredible relative strength versus the SPY and versus the Qs. And so for
Yeah.
me, this is the one I'm constantly keeping my eye on all day long. I always have it on a side chart. Tends to lead, but look, where's the 200-day on the we're at the 200-day on the SPY. We're just on the Qs. The IWM is still
Mm.
trying to break 190 in the 8 and the 21-day here, and it's just showing a lot of relative strength in this market right now.
I have to truly agree. I've been looking at a lot of indexes. I haven't watched the IWM in maybe the last couple of days. One thing that I can see from the 22nd on, we started actually uptrending on the 200-day. That is something that's different. One thing I've talked about on the SPY, it had that golden cross, but the 200-day hasn't really ticked up. It's
Right.
just been kind of on this sideways trend. And one thing I can see in that IWM is that you're actually starting to see an uptrend in the 200-day.
Yep.
That's something to catch.
Yep.
So it's interesting there. IWM, who knows? We might still see these short, small caps, mid caps have that potential to move. I was talking to Craig Johnson today from Piper Sandler on PreMarket Prep, and that's what he was calling that could continue to move is small caps and mid caps. So you pointing out the IWM here doesn't fall too far from that.
There's still everybody wants. I mean, there's doom and gloom out there in this market, and there's good reason for it. Let's be honest. But
Mm-hmm.
not the market's not just falling apart here, and
Yeah.
I often find sometimes when you hear the louder bears get, usually the worse it gets for them at the end of the day. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe not this case. We got a lot going on, a lot of undercurrents. So
A lot going on. Always great to have you on. You guys can keep up with everything that Option Mike does. You guys give him a great follow. I definitely want to hear that he got some good follows. And you guys can also check out his YouTube/Option Mike. Check out Smart Option trading.com. I want to go ahead and give you guys that Twitter to give them a nice follow. It's good to have you on, Option Mike. And what else? Where else could they kind of learn? Tell us a little bit more about what you do for smart option trading.
What we do is we run a service room. We have a great community. We're up from 9 o'clock in the morning up until today. I'll stay to 4:15, 4:30 trading earnings with the room. I do a video every morning. We go over what's in play, what I like, what I don't like for the day, or if I don't like the market, I'll be very blunt and say, hey, I don't like it. Recap video every night, and then we trade during the day together. I call out option flow all day long, trades, technical levels. Some guys like Chris in my room also call out stuff that they're seeing as well, and Johnny and some other people, and Rick. And then, every weekend I do a video for the week ahead going over, this is what I expect, here's what earnings are, here's the economic things to worry about, or here's which of these Fed geeks are going to come out and ruin our day.
You know how that goes. I heard some Kashkari comment earlier today. There's the link there for smartoptiontrading.com. We'll have you back on, Options Mike. Appreciate you coming. Have a
Thanks,
good one.
Mitch. Bye, Benzinga Nation.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's get back to the market here. Just taking a look here. As I get closer towards the close here, definitely going to have to cut the best buy. And it's kind of sucky on that one, right? Because, I mean, we were doing really well this morning. Really nice pattern for the bearish cut down through 82. It cut down to 81.70. I had an order to take good profits at 81.50, and it's back up there to 82.86. I have to stop at 83. We're slightly above at 83.08. This is not one that I want to take into the earnings. There is one above that I'll talk about that I will take into the earnings, but Best Buy, yeah, it's probably not going to do it for us, team. Going to go ahead and just kind of get out of this one here. And I tried, and that's how you can do it, team. Sometimes you're not always going to get it. This was one that we're still in the green, but I don't want to battle here and kind of battle this market towards the close here. So I'm going to take it off. There it is. There it goes. There it goes, team. There it goes. All right. Well, just took a small profit there on Best Buy. I'll rather take the profit than get squeezed on it right now. So one that I am, though, adding to it right now and going to take a shot on, which is going to be interesting, is the Burlington. All right, team. So I averaged in here on this one. We'll see how this one turns out. I have 216.27 here for Burlington. I was adding on this recent pop. We'll see what happens. This is one that I'm looking at more on the hourly basis. I'll show you guys that right now. I was looking for this to kind of hold here, cut right back down. Of course, this one has earnings after the bell. I could get hit on it, but we'll find out, right? Like always, we got to be careful. I'm taking a shot on this one. You guys choose your own investment decisions. This one for me is more of a super extended stock that has just gone too far into the retail earnings. Of course, anything above that 220s, really, we'll just go ahead and get out. It's going to be interesting. I'm sure there'll be a kind of a wick here on the earnings, but find out. We'll look into it. Like always, it's not always going to be 100%. We did get a nice win in X. That's been probably the best winner of the week. We'll keep watch to see what happens on some of these names. Pakar looking good here towards the close, up towards 73. I'll keep trying to work that one and see if we can get a nice little push. NTR starting to push here. Doesn't look too bad. AU, the gold trade. We'll look to see if gold can actually keep moving. I was looking to see if this one could hold 16 on GOLD and look for the keep push. Look for it to keep pushing. CDIO, $7. Wow, what a rip here towards the close on that one. That was one we were watching on live trading. So if you guys aren't watching our live trading action, you're probably missing out on that too. Day trading action, of course. So check that out, CDIO. We have the crow in there. And like always, we keep an eye out on all these types of stocks, even the smaller names. We'll see what happens. AMC, what happened to that one? Nothing today. The sideways action. Did try to go up there earlier in the week. Just couldn't do it. All right. How's Tesla to the close here? Tesla getting a little bit of a push here towards the close. We'll find out tomorrow what happens on these trades. Keep up with all the action right here on Benzinga. You don't got to go anywhere, team. Tomorrow, we will have another great trader joining us. We're going to have Anne-Marie Band. Smash the like for that one, team. I'm excited to go have an Anne-Marie Band. Of course, she brings the calmness to the market. So I'm excited to talk to her and maybe calm me down because I've been trying, team. I've been trying to get some of these nice swing trades. Like always, it's not going to work out, 100% of the time. The best buy one, I had some conviction, just didn't work out. And who knows? Like always, we'll find out what happens in the market. SPY rejecting there around the 394 levels. Qs overall, the 290s stood out to me today. We'll see if we come back through that 290s on the downside, because if we could break that 290s, then yeah, you can see that downside action happen in the market. But if we keep coming back and going into this chop zone that we've been seeing, that's where you got to be careful. The VIX is screaming too much greed. The VIX seems like it wants to spike, right? I don't know about you guys. I feel like the VIX could spike up and then the market could break through the lows, but that's just something that I'm keeping an eye out. I don't use the VIX to give me edge. No. VIX has ruined me when I thought about just using the VIX for edge. I actually look to see if that's more of a confirmation. That's what I do for the VIX. All right, we'll see what else is going on. That's exciting. Love the interview. Of course, Crow, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep getting to different traders to check out their perspective, right? It's not always about just mine. If you guys know a trader out there, you want to see them on, bring on some charts, let me know. Hit the comments after the show. I'll definitely reach out to those traders and bring them on, and we'll keep pushing the next level. All right, we'll see what happens today. Oof, Burlington squeezing on me, man. A little part of me feels like even adding up here, but I ain't going to go too crazy on it. It is a monster, and I felt like I was even brave for going for it today, but we'll find out, team. This one could get a tough one. It could be some pain tomorrow on this one. I'm taking a shot. That's all you can do. Just know your outs, like always. That's what I always say. No trade is wrong necessarily. It's just more along what? Process approach, and are we sticking to the risk and reward? That's what matters to me the most, right? That's what's going to matter in the long run, is sticking to the risk and reward, so that even if we lose one, we don't just ruin, all the trades, right? Don't put all the eggs in one basket, right? We'll find out how this trade works out. All right, we'll see what happens on these trades. And how is one of my top watches, MPC? This is one of my top watches, team. We talked about this one 2 days now. Been watching this one since the 24th of February. We updated this on the 1st as I pulled it back a little bit below this. This one's looking good. Also, I saw Oxy bounce back. XOM bounce back. Will the energy names start getting a little bit of a bounce? We'll see what happens. XLE starting to bounce back a little bit. XLI didn't have a bad day today. XLV, the healthcare names, that just keeps getting hit hard there. So just be careful with those healthcare names. We'll find out what happens. There's the bell. It's 4 p.m. I got to go find out what's going on in Burlington. Will I get crushed? Find out tomorrow. Hit the like on the way out, and I'll see you guys bright and early, of course, on pre-market prep. Smash the like before you get out, team. Let's go. Let's go. Check.